Win more listings and be a better real estate agent with a seller net sheet like the one I'm going to give you here today and review with you. In this video, I'm going to go over why you should be using a seller net sheet. And then I'm going to go into how to download my seller net sheet and then how to use it so that you can be a better agent and use it to win listings. Let's go. Welcome back to my channel. It's Charlie Cameron. I'm a real estate agent, real estate investor, and global team leader on a mission to help real estate agents everywhere grow their business exponentially and achieve financial freedom along the way. So why is a seller net sheet so darn important? Well, what's the one most important piece of information for sellers to know about the home selling process? What is the biggest question in their mind? How much money am I gonna make? Right? No duh, Charlie. Yeah, got it. So how do you figure that out? Well, use something called a seller net sheet. Now, it's really important to kind of know what expenses to expect in your area. Are there tax transfer fees and doc stamps? Are there going to be title fees on the seller side? Well, how much commission are they paying? And generally, they pay both agents commissions, right? Are they expecting to make any repairs? What amounts might they expect? What loans still have to be paid off, like the principal of their mortgage? Are there any other liens that have to be paid off? Are you expecting to, like in Florida, sometimes we have to throw a roof in if it's too old. Are we expecting to have to pay for that roof out of closing funds? And so at the end of the day, when we price this property and we subtract all of those expenses, what is the seller expecting to net in their net proceeds, what they're going to take home from closing? So that's essentially the point of a seller net sheet. Now, I go a step further and I use it to talk about the pricing strategy. So I put some notes on there and talk about, hey, you need to do these things to the home to get it ready to list and to really get the most bang for showings and open houses initially. We want to make sure that we've addressed glaring issues ahead of time so that when people walk in there, they're ready to pay top dollar, right? The other thing I do is I come up with a range, a pricing range, right? I think that, hey, on the high end, if we do really well, we could get this price for your home. But on the low end, we could get this price. Additionally, if we're really lucky, we may have no repairs to make, right? On that high price plus no repairs. On the low end, let's say the pricing just, the interest rates just went up and we're having trouble selling it. We're going to have to drop price a little more and we're going to have to make a number of repairs and concessions to make sure that the buyer's happy. So that range of net proceeds to the seller could be more than the difference in the low price and the high price, right? Because on the high side, they may have less repairs. And on the low side for net proceeds, they could have more repairs, more concessions. So this is a really good way to walk through what the seller can expect. Now, when you sit down and walk through this with them, it's really going to show that you've thought out the entire pricing process and the entire pricing strategy for their home. You've come up with suggestions and you've shown them, no kidding, what the range of net proceeds could be for them when they sell their home. This gives them a ton of comfort in your capabilities as an agent. And while you can still let them know that, hey, this is not going to be 100% accurate. There could be other fees and things in here. Plus, this is going to vary by state to state. So make sure you kind of update it a little bit by your state. And I'm going to show you how to do that in just a minute. But this is going to give them a ton of confidence in your abilities as an agent. It's going to help you win that listing. Now, the other thing you can do is once you're under contract, you can update the sheet. Hey, now I know the price. Hey, now I know what repairs are going to be making. Or maybe you kind of update it after you get past the inspection period and the repair request, right? So you can kind of make updates along the way and hone in on that no kidding net proceeds. Ultimately, the title company is going to help you with the exact net proceeds, of course, right? They're going to balance everything once you're clear to close with the lender and get you across that finish line. So of course you can tell them, hey, this is meant to just be an estimate, and I've got that written on the sheet you can download. So how do you download this free seller net sheet? I put it in Google Sheets to make it more accessible and free for everyone in case you didn't have Excel, and it's built out that way. It does some of the calculations for you, so you can go ahead and hit that QR code or check out the links below, and you can download that seller net sheet. Now let's jump into how to use it. Okay, so let's talk about how to use our seller net sheet template. Here's a zoomed out version so you can kind of see the whole thing. And then I'm going to zoom in a bit. But this is very easily printable. So let's first talk about the printing format. When you hit print here, it's going to come up and it's going to be on an 8.5 by 11 page with standard margins. So it's already ready to go there. You could potentially add more lines if there's some other unique expenses in your area. or you could add more kind of discussion points down here for you and your seller. You can also print this to a PDF if you wanted, but yeah, it makes for an easy printable option. You can customize your logos. You simply just copy and paste from somewhere else and plug them in here. You can just delete these and put yours in. Too easy. And then you have the option to clear all this out and do it by hand, but I was an engineer before my real estate nerd life, so I really like using clean, filled out spreadsheets whenever possible. Maybe you just leave this part down here for your own handwritten notes if you wanted, but it certainly makes it simple to just do it all and clean to do it all in Google Sheets, or you can download this and open it in Excel or an equivalent program. So let's zoom in here so we can get a better idea of how we would fill this out. If I can figure out how to zoom. I guess I can't. Okay. Let's zoom this bad boy in. Okay. So you're simply going to think about your pricing strategy, the low range of what you think a property would sell for and the high end of what it would sell for. That way you're capturing the net possible proceeds for both on the low end of the sale or the high end of the sale. And so this is just a fictitious example here, but I kind of said, hey, it's going to be between this $25,000 range. That really just generally impacts this number. Though what you could say is, hey, on the high end, maybe we have no repairs. Maybe we don't have to do as many concessions, right? So the high end could actually technically be more than the difference in this amount. Okay, and so this will automatically calculate this for you and pull it in down here. So now what's not calculated? So everything in gray is what you're going to have to fill out. However, you still need to go in here and ensure that any doc stamps on deeds or any other calculations, like if you want to create a formula for property tax, you can. What I like to do is just look at last year's taxes and kind of prorate based on dates and just kind of plug into a separate calculator what that might be. Let's say it's halfway into the year, maybe they've already paid a full year or whatever it may be. Then you kind of do that proration and then plop that number in here. Recording of mortgage varies by market, so you'll just write that in, whatever that may be. Real estate commission, you just change this number right here and it'll auto-populate. Let's say it's 6% total. It'll auto-populate across. And then for doc stamps and deeds, maybe I could put the rate here. I haven't done that. Maybe I'll adjust that. But essentially here, it's just a formula of what our doc stamp rate is for locally for me in the Florida Panhandle. But you would just change this formula to be equivalent to yours. So for every $100, it's 0.7. And so that's what just putting that calculation in there, the cost is going to be. And then you'll want to talk about max repairs per contract. So this is essentially what this is doing is I'm looking at, hey, on a standard contract, they may write in this amount of repairs. Let's say in my market, it ends up being, I don't know, 0.5%. It's kind of what this looks like. So I just threw that in there and then it would populate across. Again, you could zero this out if you said, hey, we're not going to make any, on the high end, we could not make repairs. It's really, I want to give the flexibility for you to decide how you want to have this conversation. If you have an HOA estoppel fee, you would plug that in here. Municipal lien search, just talk to your favorite title agent or look at past transactions for example amounts. And you can kind of use those to guide future transactions. If you plan to have any other seller concessions, any other repairs, any other potential expenses, maybe a home warranty that you're going to pay for as the seller, then you could plop those in here, right? And that's going to deduct from the net proceeds. So down here, it totals up the estimated expenses. So you can kind of see that here on the seller's side. And then you can come down here. This is very important. Do not skip this step. You've got to have the remaining mortgage balance, the principal balance to be paid off at closing. If they own it free and clear, this can be zero. But in most cases, there's going to be a mortgage remaining. And so that amount, approximate amount, needs to be in here so that that can be deducted because obviously the seller still has to pay that mortgage off. And you're left with the net proceed range for this sale. So, and down here, I just left a block where you can add notes for me, what I like to do is talk about kind of assumptions that go into this. Like, hey, you're going to do some curb appeal. You're going to fix this, that, and the other that really will draw negative attention. You will, your roof is old. So, I left out those concessions in here, but I might say something like, hey, your roof is older. It's going to have to be replaced in order for us to really sell this house and be insurable by the next buyer. So the assumption is we're going to throw in a roof and we're going to bake that into our pricing strategy and our concessions that we add here, so you know exactly what the net proceeds are. So those are just some examples, and this is how you'd use it. So you'd fill it out, you'd print it off, you'd take it with you to your listing appointment, and or once you're under contract, then you would use this to essentially give the no kidding best estimate until title finishes gathering all their information. You get insurance bound, you get all these other pieces and parts, the lender's all complete and everything's provided. Basically, when you get to clear to close, that's when title can do their final balance, and that will give the exact amount. Again, this is just an estimate. In fact, I'm going to add a little blurb at the bottom that says this is just an estimate, and that way you can have that on there as well. I hope you got some value out of this seller net sheet conversation and downloadable. Be sure to check that out, the link below. And of course, if you're looking for a real estate team that helps you with tools like this and helps you grow your business and achieve financial freedom along the way, be sure to schedule a call with us at agentwealthhustle.com. See you soon.